صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. First and foremost, I would like to thank the day attendants for allowing me to serve here in these nights. I would like to thank everyone who is here, from those who were working in the kitchen, to those who stayed cleaning, to those who stayed hoovering, to those who were looking out, to those who were closing the lights, turning on the lights. That it seems like it's simple jobs, but they add up and they become very difficult jobs. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help them and aid them and grant them the best of success, especially to those who have attended their brothers that were reciting the Ad'iyah during the nights of Qadr. I know for the attendants it's easy to sit there yawning and leaving, and for the people reciting it's a lot of burden to make sure that you get the right pronunciation and these things. So may Allah bless them and continue blessing them inshallah and allow them the best of success. May Allah bless you all, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the opportunity and success to serve you in the future. A very quick look at Surah Al-Ma'un. I was hoping to do a tafsir of it, to be honest, but we'll have a quick look that we can take understanding from the surah, and as a result of that, inshallah, take some lessons from it. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. Did you see the one that lies in deen? The surah itself, before I start, there are two opinions. There is an opinion that it was a Meccan surah, and there is an opinion that it's a Madaniyan surah. Other opinions came, a third opinion said, half of it is Mecca and half of it is Medina. So half of the surah is Mecca, and the other half was revealed in Medina. From what I was able to research, it seems the closest thing is Mecca. And the reason is the following. There are a few opinions as to the reason why the surah was revealed. The most famous of them are two. The first is that it came about the kuffar of Quraysh, or the mushrikeen of Quraysh as a whole. So the mushrikeen of Quraysh as a whole, it came in regards to them. The second opinion was it came at certain members of Quraysh. One of those opinions is that it came on Abu Sufyan. One of the opinions on the reason for the revelation of this surah is Abu Sufyan. Now someone comes to me and says, why? It was a norm for Quraysh, and this suits both opinions by the way, whether it's all of Quraysh or specifically a certain one of them. If it's all of them, it's inclusive of all of them. If it's one of them, it's also inclusive of all of them because they were all the same. Anyway, when you come and you look at this surah and you understand that the reason for the revelation was the following. Quraysh used to feed the poor once a week. Once a week, they used to have a day in which they used to feed the poor. On one of the weeks, outside of this day, it seems according to history that day was a Monday, by the way. Every Monday they used to feed the poor. On one of the days, I said, maybe it was a Friday, a person comes to one of the men of Quraysh, and it could have been Abu Sufyan. And he said to him, give me something. He said, move away from me. I don't want to give you anything, get out of my face. And he pushed him away. Why was that the case? Because on Monday, that was the known day of feeding. Everyone knows who is feeding and what they are feeding. And the one who feeds the most used to be applauded in Mecca. Today, when I give on a Friday to this young boy that came to me and asked for some help, no one is going to know that I helped them. So this person was giving not for the sake of Allah, rather he was giving for the sake of the people. Understanding this context, the surah is going to make much more sense to you now. أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. Did you see the one that lied in deen? Deen comes in two meanings. Either the meaning of religion, such as إِنَّمَا الدِّينَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ Islam. That means it's a religion. The second meaning is Yawm al-Din, which is what? The Day of Judgment. Did you see the one that lied in religion, or do we take the opinion of did you see the one that lied on the Day of Judgment, or in regards to the Day of Judgment? The rest of the surah makes it clear as to which of the two opinions is closer. فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمَ. This fa means there's a continuation of the person that was lying. Do you want to know the characteristic of this individual that was lying? Do you want to know what quality this individual held, that the person that was lying about deen? That is the person who يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمَ. That is when you push something away. When you push it away from yourself. But you might come and tell me, why did he not just say the one who pushes away? مَنْ يَدْفَعُ الْيَتِيمَ. Why did he say يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمَ? Because that is with aggressiveness. Once I say, you know, sometimes you walk in ziyarah and someone comes to you and he tells you, give me money, and you're like, you either smile or you're like, ma andi, this is a nice way. Or sometimes someone pushes them away, this is a medium way. And sometimes like, they shout at them, هذا داع. This is what we call داع. هذا يدعو اليتيم. This is not something that is recommended in our religion. So the reason it used that aggressive way is because of the context of the surah that we just mentioned. That with aggressiveness he pushed this orphan away from him. So this characteristic of the one who lies about deen is that they do not treat the orphan in a nice way. From this aspect, we understand it is not a matter of religion. Rather, it's a matter of Day of Judgment. You might ask me, how can you come to that conclusion? Because that individual is not worried about the consequences of that action. If it was just a matter of religion, this characteristic doesn't make sense for that. But when I say, did you see the one that lied about the Day of Judgment? When I say, did you see the one that lied about the Day of Judgment? What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say the one who does not truly believe in the consequences of the Day of Judgment. That becomes the meaning of it. Did you see the one that didn't truly believe in the consequences of the Day of Judgment? Let me describe him to you. That is the one that pushes the orphan away with aggressiveness. Do we see the full picture now? فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمَ وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامٍ مِسْكِينٍ. Why did he not say, that is the one who does not do it'am of طعام المسكين? Why did he say يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ? Because have is different to then just giving it'am. It'am can only come from me. I give. But when I do have, I am giving and I'm also urging others to give. This individual is taking away all of that aspect of anyone that wants to give to these مساكين. وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامٍ miskin. And miskin is a very specific word. We mentioned this in the fiqh bahith. We said the miskin is what? What's the definition of a miskin? Ahsant. The one who does not have the quut of his day. They do not have the livelihood for their one day. They don't have enough food or clothes for a single day. So we're not even talking about a poor individual anymore. First, he pushes away the orphan. And when he comes to the miskin, he's not feeding them. And this idea is extremely important. The reason being is we are in the nights of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Look at the way Amir al-Mu'mineen talks about orphans. For example, Allah fil aytam. فَلَا يَضِيعُوا بِحَضْرَتِكُمْ. Don't let them be of those that are lost in your presence. They shouldn't be in need when we are around. And as for the miskin, that is even more important because a yatim doesn't have to be a miskin. Imagine if that is in regards to the yatim. The yatim, yes, you wipe over their head. Miskin also has this issue. You also need to attend to them. Many times what happens with us is this. We think that donating and helping them is going to make us bankrupt. Not realizing that helping them and aiding them is what's going to make us rich. Generally. In fact, the one who does not help them, the Quran says, الَّذِينَ يَأْكُلُونَ أَمْوَالَ الْيَتَامَى. Allah, this is scary. Are you guys ready? الذين يأكلون أموال اليتامى والمساكين ظلما وأموال اليتامى ظلما سيصلون سعيرا. Or before that, إِنَّمَا يَأْكُلُونَ فِي بُطُونِهِمْ نَارًا وَسَيُصْلَوْنَ سَعِيرًا. The one who eats what is the right of an orphan, rather they are eating fire within their bellies. And on top of that, they will be taken with a blaze on the Day of Judgment. So you might tell me, I give charity. It's not a matter of just charity. Khums is part of it. Khums is part of it. How short have we come with our wajib al-shar'i that is called khums? How short have we come? A person who does not pay khums, they have kept what is the haqq of someone else. Now they eat from that haqq. They become a part of this verse that we just recited. How scary is that verse? A person who has zakat wajib on them. Zakat is not wajib on everyone. Certain characteristics. But I know, for example, of those who have invested in gold, for example. The one who has invested in gold and they have more than, maybe I think 70 or 80 grams of gold, zakat is wajib on them. When is the last time that they paid zakat on them? And by the way, when I talk gold, I'm not talking about necklaces or earrings. Pure gold. Pure gold. For those who have invested in it. This is zakat. Zakat is wajib here. How many times have we gone far away from this? And as if this idea is going to make us bankrupt, or as if it's not really going to help us move forward in life. Someone comes forward and he says, I've got £10,000 saved. I need to pay £2,000 khums. Yes, we do. But then he just said £10,000 saved. Yeah, it's extra money. Khums is not on how much you make. Khums is on extra money that you have. Whatever you have saved. In fact, when you look at the fatwas of Ayatollah Sayyid Sistani, he even mentions that before you pay your khums, take out of it even the money you want to spend for holiday. To that extent. But yet we find it to be very difficult. Anyway, so the Quran is saying, a person must be very careful in this sense. أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. Because the one who does not take care of their charity, by the way, you know, our belief in Islam, unfortunately, it's more of an atheist, agnostic belief. What do I mean with that? We believe there's a God, but we don't really believe in the consequences. We're agnostic. We're not sure. A person who is sure that there is a God becomes worried about the consequences. A person who is certain that there is a consequence to my action will not perform that action. A person who is sure that Allah is overwatching them would not be in a state where they would perform that specific action. Mustahil. And that's why I say our belief is more of an agnostic belief than a true iman in Allah Azza wa Jalla. This is something I want to ponder about myself. So did you see the one that lied about the consequences of the Day of Judgment? That is the one that pushes away the orphan harshly and does not care for the feeding of the miskin. فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. We went from a person who doesn't give charity to now suddenly the Musallin are going to enter hellfire. Why we pray? The Quran is saying فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. Wailham is not just hellfire. It is the lowest pits of hellfire. The lowest. Hellfire has different doors. Its lowest of them is Jahannam. The lowest of them is Wail. That lowest part of hellfire is for who? Those who pray. فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. But what qualities do these people hold? Those that are praying, that are deserving of that. الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. Remember earlier I mentioned in the Q&A, I said in Arabic, الصلاة القضية الوحيدة اللي الله بيجامل بها. When it comes to salah, Allah doesn't give any space for a person to move about in it. Those who take their salah lightly, the first thing a person will be asked on the Day of Judgment will be about their salah. If it is accepted, قُبِلَ مَا سِوَى. Everything else is accepted. If it is rejected, everything else is rejected. Salah itself is that pillar. Why do you think it's called pillar of religion? It's that pillar that holds the rest of your a'mal. All your a'mal are based on it. Unfortunately, we don't have time to go into detail as to why that is, but I'm going to give you a reference to one verse that gives you this idea. إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنكَرِ. Salah takes you away from these bad deeds. Which salah? This quick salah that I pray, me Ibraheim, every single day? No. A salah that I want to be perfect. A salah that I want to make sure is correct. Because when Allah Azza wa Jal tells me that when you pray to me, do not wear clothes that are stolen, I'm going to make sure that all my money is halal. When Allah Azza wa Jal tells me, pray in purity, I'm going to make sure that I'm never going to be in a state of impurity. So that perfect salah is what's going to allow me to be there. الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. This sahu is when a person takes their salah lightly to the extent where, for Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam says, تَأْخِيرُ الصَّلَاةِ بِلَا عُذْرٍ. Wallah, this is scary. Wallah, this is scary. Delaying prayer without an excuse, Imam al-Sadiq says, this is what he's talking about. الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. This, the one who delays their prayer without a reason. They don't have a udhr. Then after that, الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ. Riya, showing off. Those people that were feeding the poor were feeding it so people can see. When the poor person came to them by themselves, they were not able to give them. This riya, showing off to people, for example, Ibrahim comes into Imam Ali center, he prays in the center, but when he's alone in his house, he doesn't pray. Then my prayer is not for Allah, it's for the people. When I pray here, I take my time. When I pray at home, this is showing off to the people. This is riya. This is riya. That riya, do you know how dangerous it is? Other than the fact that Allah said this is one of the characteristics of those who pray that deserve weight. The danger of it is that in our narrations it is called ash-shirk al-khafi, hidden shirk. I'm going to give you a narration that is absolutely scary, that will summarize this topic for us. The Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. I'm sorry, by the way, I'm summarizing my points in narrations. I wanted to expand on them and explain them, but because of time, I think giving a narration that encompasses all should be enough. When you come to this narration, he says on the day of judgment, the ummah will come into three groups. One group, they will come, Allah Azza wa Jal will ask them, why did you worship me? They will say, we worshipped you for the sake of this world, of the world. He says to them, انظروا إلى ما جمعتم. I come, I worship, so that I can gain wealth, I can gain. Because you know, sometimes when you run institutions, when you run certain things, there's a lot of donations that come through, there's a lot. I worshipped you for this world. For a status between the people. So go and look at everything you gathered. Will it be of any help to you? By Allah, it won't help you until to the hellfire. The second group of people will come. Said, why did you worship me? They will say, we worshipped you riya'an, abadnaka riya'an. He said, go and look at the people. You know those people that you are doing riya' to, showing off towards? Go and see if they will help you today. By Allah, they will not be of any help to you and to my hellfire. Then the third group of people will come, and that will be the mu'mineen that are sitting in front of me, inshallah. Allah Azza wa Jal will ask them, why did you worship me? They will say to him, oh Allah, we worshipped you because we found you worthy of worship. Allah Azza wa Jal would say, وَعِزَّتِي وَجَلَالِي. He swears by his might that you are truthful, so enter into my heavens. These are the three groups that will come on the day of judgment. الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ. Ma'un, we always think of it as a plate. And because of Surah Al-Ma'un, we think of it as a plate of food. Because minna na yatim, minna miskin, minna ma'un. No. Ma'un is any help. Any help. When I say any help, they're brothers, sisters, uncles, aunties. That includes when a community member is in need and we don't help them. That includes when a person is going through financial struggle and we don't help them. That includes when a person comes and asks for a short-term loan and we don't help them. That is all inclusive of this. Anything of help and aid is inclusive of this. يَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ. You know, we have a hadith that says one of the reasons for the baghta of the qabr, one of the reasons why we will face the punishment of the grave, is because a believer came to ask us for help and we rejected them. Allah will tighten our grave. حاجة الناس إليك, Imam al-Hussein says, حاجة الناس إليك من نعم الله عليك. The need of people for you is of the blessings of Allah upon you. The fact that a person comes to me for help is a blessing. How can I have a blessing at my fingertips and then push it away like that? And by the way, I'm not here, this is not sponsored, but the center is part of the things that need help. And from what I have seen over the past 10 days that I've been here and the past years that I have spent here, and from what I have understood, the help that the center is receiving is minimal. And that is not acceptable. The reason being is because the center is a community center for all. It's encompassing everyone. It is trying its best to hold programs that are catering for everyone that is here. It is going through construction. From what I have understood, some of the construction and money that was spent on the roof cannot even be witnessed or seen. But that is all thousands and thousands of pounds. It's not something cheap. And this is why it's important for the community to come together. This is part of يَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ, by the way. We need to be careful. We need to be of those that come and aid. And yes, wealth is part of them. We aid morally, very good. We aid by attendance, we aid by... But with money we also need to aid. This is just how life works. Quran talked about this. It isn't a Western ideology to give money and all of these things. No, Quran is talking about this. And this is all part of qard hasan, a good loan that you give to Allah Azza wa Jal. And the reason Allah called it a loan is because He will repay you for it. So this surah itself, a very quick reflection on it gives us this understanding. And hence it's important for us, and I do apologize for the time's sake, I was really hoping to go deep into the meanings of this verse, of these verses. However, it's important for us that when we look at these simple understandings from just reading a surah very quickly, we see the magnificent nature of this surah. And the meanings that are held behind verses that we have memorized and recite on a daily basis. Let us not be agnostic believers. Let us be individuals that believe in the consequences of our actions and as a result act upon it. We must be individuals, if this came on the mushrikeen of Quraysh, then we are of those that did bara'ah of them, correct? What did we do wilayah of? We did wilayah of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. If this came about mushrikeen Quraysh, what came about Ahlul Bayt? الذين ينفقون في السراء والضراء والكاظمين الغيظ والعافين عن الناس والله يحب المحسنين. The ones who spend when they are in a good state and when they are in a bad state, when they are poor, when they are rich, they're always spending. Opposite to the mushrikeen of Quraysh. ويطعمون الطعام على حبه مسكينا ويتيما وأسيرا. This came about the Ahlul Bayt. So where are we performing our true wilayah and bara'ah? Because wilayah and bara'ah is not a tongue, it's not by the tongue, it's through actions. Let me follow these ways of the Ahlul Bayt and stay away from the ways of those who are the mushrikeen of Quraysh that this surah is talking about. Let me take examples from these individuals. Otherwise, I become like those that oppress the Ahlul Bayt. The Ahlul Bayt came forward and they gave us these teachings, but we are oppressing them by not following them. Because we're claiming to be a part of them, but we're doing the opposite of them. To make this idea clear to you why it's an oppression, imagine you come from a family where they spent everything they could to take care of you. But you go out on the streets, and everything you do on the street is opposite to the morals of your family. Are you not doing injustice to your parents? What have the Ahlul Bayt given us, and how are we repaying them back on the streets? Think of it in this manner. Are we doing an injustice to them or not? And it is of the nature that we have in Najaf, and of the way that we have learnt from our teachers, that on any majlis that we take, whether it's a 3-night majlis, 10-night majlis, even 30-night majlis, that the last day should be in remembrance of Fatima al-Zahra alayha afdalu salati wassalam. And that is the way that we end our majalis usually. Because she was the center of all of that. Fatima al-Zahra was the compass of all of that. Which is why that they would be the ones, although they were in the poor state that they were in, they were the ones always giving. She would be the one that would constantly say, Al-Jar qabla al-Dar. She would be the one that would constantly remind the people of prayer and fasting and giving zakat, and even to the extent where that Amir al-Mu'mineen in his ruku', when he couldn't give zakat, he gave his ring in zakat, in charity. This is the way of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalu salati wassalam. And hence, because of these morals, the Holy Prophet told us that when you want to take anything, take it all from them. And all I want is for you to show compassion to these individuals. That's all I want for them. For Rasulullah only left one daughter. Not 2, not 3, one daughter. And you look at how they would treat this daughter, which is why the poet would say, لَمْ يُخَلِّفْ أَحْمَدٌ إِلَّا بِنَةً وَلَكَمْ أَوْصَى بِهَا الْقَوْمَ مِرَارًا. How many times did he remind the people of her? لم يخلف أحمد إلا ابنته ولكم أوصى بها القوم مرارا كابدت بعد أبيها المصطفى غصصا لو مست الطود لمارها والدها قائلا فلتبكي ليلا أو نهارا من روعها من سن في ظلمها من علاياها أبوابها أضرم بما جرى علينا عذرا سادة الكرام فاتكأ الرجس على الباب ولا تسأل عما جرى ثم وصى وأن الباب عنها والجدار واسأل اللؤلؤ قرطيها لمن تثرت والعين لم تشكح مرارا وهل المسمار موتورا لها فغدا في صدرها يطلب ثار يا رب بسمار بسمار يا ذي الصبر يا ابن الحسن بسمار. أريد بهاي الونة بهاي لأن أختم هذا المجلس لأني ليالي شهر رمضان بصوتك أريد أختم هذا المجلس. بارك الله بك أنت بصاحب الزمان في هذه الليلة. قل له يا ذي الصبر يا ابن الحسن يعني كافي بعد كافي سيدي عطشانين إلك. والله يا ذي الصبر يا ابن الحسن بسمار بسمار وعلي مرض لب القلب بسمار علي مرض لب القلب بسمار بسمار تنسلي صدر انصاب والله تنسى اللي صدر انصاب بسمار والله تنسى اللي صدره انصاب بسمار بسمار وسقط من هالجنين على الوطية والله وسقط من هالجنين على الوطية. نعم وقف ذلك اللعين على باب فاطمة وهو الذي يقول أحسست بفاطمة خلف الباب أن كنت أنا أرق لها لكني ذكرت عليا وسيف وولو بدماء العرب فعصرتها تلك العصرة كسرت ضلعها أسقطت جنين. أين المنادي وفاطمة وسيدتا ومظلومة؟ قال سليمان قلت يا سلمان هل هجم القام ولم يكن استئذان؟ فقال اي وعزة الجبار وما على الزهراء من خمار لكنها لاذت وراء الباب رعاية للستر والحجاب فمذ رأوها عصروها عصرا كادت بنفسي أن تموت حسرا فأسقطت بنت الهدى وحزنها جنينها ذاك المسمى محسنا نادت يا فضة سنديني فقد وربي أسقطوا جنيني. والله صاحت يا فضة صدري انعاب وسقط محسن من بعتبة الباب. جت فضة ولقيتها فوق التراب يسيل من الصدر وضلوعها الدم والله يسيل من الصدر وضلوعها فسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل محمد أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. اللهم إنا نسألك وندعوك بأحب الخلق إليك بالزهراء وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها يا الله. اللهم من كانت له حاجة اللهم اقضها، اللهم شاف المرضى، اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج والعافية والنصر، واجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره ومن المستشهدين من بين يديه برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم تقبل عمل الحاضرين بأحسن قبولك، اللهم تقبل عمل المؤسسين بأحسن قبولك. لا أرواح أمواتهم، أموات الحاضرين، أموات شيعة أمير المؤمنين، رحم الله من يقرأ السورة المباركة الفاتحة تسبقها الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.